So good
Hi.
to see you.
Hi, Larry. It's very nice to see you too.
I'm so excited to be in your Facebook group. You just approved me.
Oh, well,
Yay.
welcome. welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It looks like there's so much info in there. I'm wondering
Yeah,
how how did you
it's
start the group?
absolutely. I beg your pardon?
How did you start that group?
Oh, well, as when I was applying, I had so many questions, and I had no one to ask except Health Canada, which was hit and miss whether you got an answer at all. And so I was trying to find other people that were going through the same process, and so I started the group. It wasn't a nationwide group initially. It was specifically for Atlantic Canada, and so it was Atlantic Cannabis Microcultivation was the name of the group for the first, I don't know, 6 months or so. And as more people joined and more people joined and people were from all over the country, I changed the name from Atlantic Cannabis Microcultivation to Canadian Cannabis Microcultivation. Initially, I didn't feel it was my place to start a national group, but it turned out that's what was needed, and the group formed itself, and I just renamed it accordingly.
That's so cool. And it looks like there's so many people in there now. That's
There's
very
20
exciting.
Yes, over 2,600 people. And the exciting thing about it is that these are all not just applicants. You hear the adage, if you build it, they will come. And I built it and I had no idea if the experts would come. I wanted the experts to come. I wanted gurus that people knew, the master growers and the financial experts and the real estate experts and the HVAC experts. I mean, I wanted those people to be there, but I didn't know them. I couldn't invite them. I hoped that by building the group, they would be attracted to it. And sure enough, they were. And that's the crowning achievement of this group, I think, is that this isn't just applicants. We have every kind of expert you can imagine on that group. Again,
That's so
financial,
exciting because
banking,
I need all
research,
those people.
labs. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So have,
And they're all willingly giving their information to micros that ask. These are people that normally charge quite a bit for their time and
so
on a consulting basis, and yet they'll answer the simplest question from the lowliest micro applicants. So I'm very, very appreciative of all the geniuses that we have on the group and all the gurus that spend their time answering questions for all of the micro applicants.
what can you tell me? Why do you think people are willing to take the time to do that?
Well, I do think that this group is a welcoming environment, and that I take credit for, because when I initially started the group, I wanted it to be by the community for the community, and I wanted the community to rule the group, and that didn't work out. There's a lot of egos in cannabis. There's a lot of
Oh, that's bad.
there was some obnoxiousness, there was some flaming, there was just some general unpleasantry. And so I finally had to put my foot down and say, okay, this isn't y'all's group, this is my group, and I'm running it with an iron fist. So you cannot be rude. That's the main rule. You cannot be rude. Although you are allowed to be rude back if somebody is rude to you. So you get one free bite back if you're bitten first. So, but anyway,
I'll save mine for a
I've
good
kept the
one.
group. What's that?
I'll save my being rude for a really good one. I'll wait for my moment.
When somebody deserves it. Okay, that's sort of the unwritten rule. When somebody deserves it, when somebody comes at you with saber drawn, then you're allowed to respond in kind. Okay, that's just fair. So, but I think back to why I think people are willing to join this is because they know they aren't going to get flamed. They know they aren't going to get countered and arguing, and that kind of nonsense is not allowed. If I miss it, and I have a number of groups, but if I miss it, and somebody reports it to me, I go right in and delete it. We just don't allow rudeness. This entire process is stressful. Even after you're licensed, it's stressful. Things are changing, things are tightening. There's still very little information on certain aspects of the industry, like the sales amendment, like what exactly is needed for a sales amendment. So there's a lot of stress in this industry, and I feel like that there's no place for more stress, unnecessary stress added by drama. So I just don't allow drama. I'll allow pretty much anything else.
That's great. It sounds like it's really needed what you do. And it sounds like you fostered so many connections because of it. So I'm wondering, have you seen any like really cool projects or connections that have come out of this group?
Absolutely. And many times I'm just on the periphery of this. So I just get a whisper of what's happened, and it's really exciting. There's all sorts of connections that have been made. There's connections I have made with experts in the industry, experts in laboratories and tissue culture and growing. I mean, I am not a master grower. I'm a newbie grower. My expertise is strictly in the regulatory spectrum, and so I have lots of questions about growing, and so I have connected with master growers on here, and my nursery is immensely helpful in getting me up to date on the way to do things, as you know. But anyway, so like I said, I'm a newbie grower, and I just think that I would not have had the success I have already enjoyed without the connections I have made on this group, and I know others can say the same.
Okay, so it'll probably be true for me if I get involved in the group.
Absolutely.
I'll be able to meet all sorts of great people.
And the important thing for you to realize is that people help people they're interested in. So if you go on there and just say, what's the best lighting to use, you're going to get one kind of an answer. But if you go on there and say, look, I'm a newbie for going indoors, going outdoors for 15 years, but I'm going indoors for the first time, and this is my room set up, and I'm torn between this light and this light, would really appreciate you guys' feedback. You will get tons of feedback on that. Okay, you can't just ask a cut and dried question like, what's the best lighting? That changes for everybody. What's the best lighting for your situation? What is your situation? What makes your situation different? Because you're new at growing indoors, you've grown outdoors, so they'll know where to start from. So yes, I would absolutely encourage new members of the group to give us some background. Tell us a little bit about what you're planning. Tell us a little bit about how far you've come. It's interesting, your background having been through the medical process, so medical cannabis regulations. So, it helps to share your story. And then people are, they get involved in your story, and they want to make your situation better.
That's exciting. So everybody's helping each other out. And so do you think that's really cool? I think. Do you think that this is going to help the industry in the future as a whole? Groups like this?
I think it has dramatically helped micros already as a whole. Micros, the application process is much, much easier because of the information that has been shared on this group. Okay, the number of gurus and experts in their field that are willing to come on here and spend an hour of their time, typing in this answer, but because that answer then it stays for all posterity. So I encourage newcomers to the group. The very first thing that you should do is do research. Okay, the search engine in Facebook is terrible. Okay, but so that means that it's going to take longer, and it'll be harder to find the information you're looking for. before, but every single question has already been asked once at least. Okay, so do some research, see if you can find the answer, because the more those questions keep getting asked, the shorter and shorter and shorter the answers get, because we've already answered that question 5 times or 15 times. So go back and do keyword searches. For instance, if you're interested in doing microprocessing, look up the word microprocessing, look up the word QAP, look up the word qualifications, because QAP and qualifications is too much for Facebook to handle. So you have to just look up qualifications. You know, if you're interested in microbial load and what, you know, if you're interested in which pharmacopoeia people are using, do keyword searches on those particular words. Find everything you can on that, read everything you can, then your knowledge will be brought up to that of the group, and then you can ask intelligent questions that are worthy of our gurus and our experts to spend the time reading and answering.
Wow, there's so much info on here. This is very exciting. Perfect for someone like me who's pretty new to this and is going to have a lot of questions. So,
yeah, there is a really a basic microcultivation 101 group that I also started for the really basic information. If you just have heard about microcultivation and you think you might want to get a license, go to it. That group is pinned to the top of this group, and you know, you can click on that and go find the real basic information. That's stuff that, you know, it's a no-go decision at that point, and start your research up there after you've read everything on the microcultivation 101 group.
okay, that's great. I mean, it seems like you're really proud of this group.
I'm very proud of the people. I'm very proud of everybody. I know that, you know, there's a lot of you know, temperamental personalities in you know, in this field, and as there are in any artistic endeavor. And you know, and I know that people are having to bite their tongue to keep from snapping sometimes. And I would especially thank those people, because I'm one of them that wants to snap back and holds their tongue, and makes this group welcoming for everybody, and you know, and patient and tolerant for everybody.
Yeah, that sounds great. It sounds like you're being very fair and very trying to help everybody. So that's wonderful.
I truly believe this is the way to get a micro license. Okay, the standards all have, you know, they have more money to work with. They can hire a you know, a consultant that can talk through every step of the way, but micros can't afford to do that. And without this group, and without the number of experts that have chimed in and contributed to this group, I think it would have been much more difficult. We would have many less microcultivation licenses than we do today. So we have something over 100 or 200, sorry, 200 recently. And, you know, and I feel like more than half of that is due to the group and all of the sharing and guidance that has happened online and offline. Okay, people are making connections, and then they're going and they're hiring that that person to be their QAP or to be their RP, or to you know, just help them through the sales amendment, or the preventative control plan, which is another big hot button with Health Canada right now. Let me diverge on that for just a second. Yeah, preventative control plans aren't just risk assessments anymore. When I was a young grower, it was all risk assessment, risk mitigation. Now it's called a preventative control plan, and it's much more in depth. Okay, and so this is where there are going to be, and already are, a lot of hangups on obtaining your sales amendment, because people don't understand how in-depth the preventative control plan is. And again, we have experts on preventative control plans in the industry that are helping out on this group. So, you know, do your research, ask intelligent questions, and you won't believe how much help you'll get.
Wow. Okay, well, I'm so excited to be part of this group now. So thank you so much for telling me about it. It's great to hear the story and how many connections and even jobs. People have got jobs because of this group. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
New
And
careers, new lives.
bought businesses and found the best lighting and found master growers. And I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. There's fascinating information coming out about pesticide contamination, inadvertent pesticide contamination, because a facility that was used for other agricultural uses is bought by a micro and turned into a micro, and they cleaned it all and they put their first crop through it. It fails for pesticides. Well, why? It turns out that the sealants and sealing rings and things, the plastic and the latex and the rubber have absorbed some of these chemicals, these pesticides, and are releasing them back into the environment sufficiently for the crops to fail. So there's fascinating information coming out all the time on this group. And even if you're licensed, you should keep in touch with what's happening on this group, because we do have a licensed processors group, but this is where all of the experts are. Okay, the licensed processor group is where processors are and you know, producers are, but this is where the experts are.
Well, it sounds like this has had such a huge impact. So I'm excited to be part of it. So thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you for telling me today all about the group. And I hope everybody else is just as interested to hear about where it came from and where it's going and how they can use it.
Well,
so yay. So thank you so much.
Yes.
Yay. Yay for going legal.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Congratulations.
Bye, everybody. Stay
Goodbye.
legal.